Howling from the Quantum Downs. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Black Goat Elf, Dotta Puppet too. Bearsnake by the ocean blue. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Kobolds and Dream Master Sword. Putting their root on the door. It's Wizard Wednesday. Forevermore. Wizards of Wednesday, lore at the core. We are a cult with a world of our own, never forgotten or magic is known. It's Wizard Wednesday, it's Wizard Wednesday. Let's read from the book of lore, legendary wizards at the core. Don't get lost in the quantum shadow, abracadabra is our magical manifesto. Wednesday, Wednesday. Eat a donut, set your soul on fire. The sacred flame on a funeral pyre. The seventh gate with golden locks. The nightmare imp with a treat box. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday.
Today is January 1st, 2025. It is Wizard Wednesday. It is a good year to join a cult. Leveling up from the Quantum Downs, this is the Black Goat of the Wood, Elf J Trul, and I've got some friends on stage with me.
Hello, it's the Orange Puppet Dotta, and we've also got... I don't know, who else have we got?
Who else do we have?
Well, I thought Bear would say it, but hey,
I know, I thought so
Happy
too.
Happy New Year, my whizzies.
What's going
Where's
on?
Bear?
Bear, are you there, Bear?
Mine doesn't even say he's a speaker yet, so we just got to dive in.
Interesting. Bear, put in a request if you can. But mine says he's a speaker. I don't get it.
I don't know.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, there he is.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I got a little bit rugged. Hi, did Tad say hi?
He sure did.
Hi, hi. Hey, what's up, Tad? I'm surprised you're awake after dancing the night away. I got some sleep and then took a nap on the beach, so I'm mostly recovered. A nap on the beach, this guy.
Damn you, Tad.
Sorry. Starting the year right.
Yeah. Guys, it is 2025, and I think it's going to be our biggest year yet. No joke. We have some major things. First of all, we have the culmination of a game that we have spent, 3 years on?
Yep.
It's coming out in 2025, Q1. Is that right?
That's right.
No big deal. No big deal.
In BD. And not only that, but our good friends at the Arcane Foundation are connecting a forgotten, let's just say an XP token to the game. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we're adopting the XP token for Forgotten Runes and for the Runiverse game. And so there's going to be tons of utility for the token in the game, a lot of which we talked about in the Runiverse Direct a few weeks ago. We'll be recycling some short videos for those in the new year. So be sure to boost those as you see them across your feed. And then, yeah, the XP token is going to have some other utility outside the game on the Forgotten Rune side. So it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a great time. Yeah, I mean, we've just, we've built so much over the past 3 years. We've converted every single character into a game-ready 3D model. We've done so many things, and I just think that 2025 is going to be sort of a culmination of everything. Because the XP token will be used in the game for sure. That'll be a major use case, but it's not going to stop there. And I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, Dota. He's probably cringing as I'm talking right now, but it's going to be more than just the game. I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think, yeah, we've done, as you said, we've built a lot of things. I think everything that we've built sort of speaks to the ethos of what we want to do, right? Build this decentralized fantasy franchise. And there's so many components to a franchise, especially in Web3. And a big part of that are a lot of the people, listening in this space, and there's more in the Discord and on Twitter. And I think like tying all that stuff together, I think XP is going to over time, really lean into like the redefining fan and franchise, and what that relationship looks like. It's really, really exciting, honestly.
It's very exciting. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of NFT projects launch tokens, and not very many of them have a full game that they're launching with. And like I said, that's not we're not going to stop there. Ideally we want to get to a place where the token is used in ways that sort of leverages what our community has been doing all along, which has been about creating for the IP that they own. So I think 2025 is really going to be all about optimizing our time and putting it towards this very focused direction. Um, and I think that's actually a good segue into another big announcement I want to make today. And I actually think this is going to be a really good thing for Magic Machine and for the community. We are moving Wizard Wednesday to an as needed basis. So that means it's probably not going to be every week. It might be like, I don't know, every 2 weeks, every month. Just whatever we need is when we'll have Wizard Wednesday. Um,
Yeah, and I think that we can let sort of the community, if some people want to pick up the mantle and also the same slot, folks are certainly welcome to do it. But I think that one of the things we've noticed with Wizard Wednesday, right, is that when we meet every single week, it's almost like the simultaneous information overload as well as like information underload. Is that a word?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
we just kind of talk about arm wrestling half the time, and so it'll let
Which, by
us.
the way,
Yeah.
let's not forget that I did beat Alpha at arm wrestling.
We still
That,
will
that that
talk
was
about arm
2024,
wrestling, but
Bear. Look forward to 2025.
That's right. No, I think that's right. When you're like going every single week, I think there's so many good things about doing it every week. I think just connecting with the community in this form is really nice, but it also does like wipe out like half of one of the days of the week. And there's so much that we have to get done every single day that honestly I think it's best to like have that time to work. And then also I also feel like, first of all, like who even has done what we did, right? I think we can go back and look and say, how many teams, founders who like projects every single week showed up for 3.5 years. I mean, I would say zero. And so
Totally, dude.
yeah, and I think like we wear that as a badge of honor. And also like companies evolve over time, and I think we're just at a point where we really need to be working with Arcane Foundation extremely closely. Bisonic is always on the game and all the things on the Magic Machine side, and nail that stuff. And so we need as much time focusing on that. And it's also like, let's like, I think saying something when there's something to say, there's a lot to that statement. I think there's like the casual check-in on Wizard Wednesday, which I think is the positive part. But I think one of the negatives is like it's, if you are just repeating yourself, that's not always so great.
I also think that a
Anyway,
great thing about
yeah.
this, right, is that as soon as we mention it, immediately the community steps up and is like throwing around ideas for more people to step in, right? More organized lore, wild mage and hen boy maybe want to step in and speak. Meeple Dad's talking about a DAO proposal, community lore sessions. So I think it's fully feasible to kind of like reuse this time slot if folks want to take over the organization.
Yep. And I just want to also underline, we're still going to be available in Discord, Twitter, DMs, at mentions, all that stuff. Nothing there will change. But like Bear and Dotta said, like, I mean, for me especially, I don't know what you guys do on your Wednesday mornings, but I actually spend a lot of time prepping for the show, and it just, that's a lot of time out of the middle of every week that I think can be more optimized.
Yeah, you craft a lot of the top piece of the show.
Yep.
I also just
And so
think it's
yeah,
like we want to make sure that when we ask people to come and spend a real bit of their time, that we've got some meat on the bone when they come and speak and we speak. So
absolutely.
yeah, so we'll still have Wizard Wednesday, but it just won't be every week.
Yep. Yep. Okay, cool. Well, we of course have some cult questions. So I'm going to jump into those right now. Chase JP has a three-part question. Number one, when more info on the token in the Arcane Foundation? So Chase, the whole team just got back from or they will get back from a much needed break tomorrow. So actually, yeah, our team isn't even really on the clock right now. But tomorrow, and tomorrow we will go over all the plans that we've had bubbling in the Crucible, and we'll lay it.
Bubbling in
I
the
know
crucible.
yeah, one of my favorite wizards is on my mind. We're gonna lay it all out soon. Info on the token, the Arcane Foundation. I mean, Dota, I know you've been doing a lot of work on just the token lately. Um,
100 Yeah, 100%. We've been collaborating with Arcane, and I think, of course, one of the main things folks want them to release is the tokenomics, right? What are the tokenomics? That's one of the key questions everyone has. What is the date for launch? What are the specific utilities going to be? All in due time, all in due time. I think, one of the things that I've talked about and that I advise is that um, I think that like the game is a really important part for the token, that we want to have solid utility, and there's a lot of pieces we're putting in place. So I think that the timeline for which you should be looking for these answers is going to be track pretty closely with the timeline for when the game launches. So that'll be sometime this quarter.
yep. And then Chase is asking when dates for playtest and live service. Q1, my
That
dude.
yeah,
Q1
that
2025.
yeah, I believe we are aiming for a January playtest. It has not been doubly confirmed, but I think that's probably what we're looking at. And then live service launch of by the end of Q1. So yeah, that's what's out there.
And then he asks when marketing push for the above.
All
I think
day,
So
every day,
probably yeah,
baby.
all day,
What do
every
you
day.
think we're
So
doing
I
right
think
now?
yeah.
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 Yeah, I think I would say this. I would say working with Arcane, working with Bisonic on the game, XP sort of woven through all that stuff is probably going to be the biggest push that we've done to date for anything. And if anyone on this space has been with us for 3.5 years, which is a lot, when we put our effort into marketing something, I think it's usually been around a mint or an event, but we're pretty good at it. I think really what we need to be doing now is making sure that we break through the sphere of not just
Did you lose
Bear's
him?
gone.
Bear's
Yep, he
gone.
gone.
He had to break through the fear, and there he's gone.
Bear, you back? Um, okay, well,
Well, I
Yeah.
think that like one of yeah. So to answer your question, marketing push for all of the above starts today. It's actually started already.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it started like
yeah,
over a week ago. We released an hour-long video before the break. I hope you saw that. I mean,
yeah,
that
for
was a
sure.
marketing
Watch the
push.
Runiverse Direct. Yeah, we got some really good engagement for that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we have been marketing it, and we will continue to do so. Um,
And I also want to just give a shout out to Chase because I think he's done an incredible job for his tweet threads, right? I think what you're doing, Chase, is like such a great example of really what we want everyone to do and what we want to recruit people to do. You've done a great job about like putting together tweet storms from the materials we've put out. And, I actually should probably hop on a call with you just to make sure that we're doing what we can to make the like resources accessible to you because we know that like Twitter and crypto Twitter is an attention game. And like you have to basically be able to serve up this kind of content for like, what are the utilities within the game? What's interesting about the game? Why should you play it? What's cool about Forgotten Runes? What's special about what we do in our community? And so, yeah, I think huge shout out to you. And we should talk more about how to make it easier.
yeah, go follow Chase, everybody, right now. He's
Curious.
actually in the audience, so go follow him. He writes fantastic tweet threads. Um,
Can you guys hear me now?
yes, we can.
So,
Jeez, my God, I'm like sitting in one place in my house and it just keeps disconnecting. Hate it. But yeah, just to put a button on that stuff is like I think this is gonna be our biggest push of all time. And I think we need to break out of the sphere of just sort of regular NFT enthusiasts. We need to find people who love games inside of three, outside of Web3. We need to find people who are just interested in the narrative around tokens in gaming and the idea of the promise of being able to sort of play a game and own progress, and be able to sell your progress when you're done with a certain item. And so I think there's a lot of people that we're going to be able to reach and a lot of people be interested in what we're building and how XP can sort of benefit them and how they use it. So I'm very excited. I'm basically spending all my time on that. So uh more stuff will be rolling out.
yeah, we need more threaders like Chase to join the cult, and really, we need more of the cult to become threaders. So I think we're working on getting all of the new live paper for the game. That should be either into the Loracle now or will be within a week or two. As well as like we need to make sure we get the transcript for the Runiverse Direct also into the Loracle. And I think all those things can be helpful for folks to kind of talk about Forgotten Runes.
Legatus asks a really interesting question, which we talk about all the time. He says, "What about a non-Web3 audience? Is that a target market right now?" I assume you mean for the game, Legatus. And yes, it is certainly a market we want to appeal to. But I mean, I don't know, Bear or Dotta, do you guys want to fill in information on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think of course, right? So the like I think that the near term is going to be like a Web 2 audience, right? So like if you look at kind of like the next like 3 to 6 months, we're aiming towards making sure we can get all of the people who are already crypto adjacent, like playing the game and enjoying the game. But yes, the Runiverse game was structured such that like you can play it on mobile without a wallet, and you can sign up and play and earn and basically the idea is to onboard you into crypto, right, and set up your first wallet and then be able to transact with and earn you know real money through kind of um, the items that you craft and be able to sell them, those sorts of things. So 100% reaching out to a Web 2 audience is part of it, because I think really the way we think about it for the game is just growing the pie, growing more revenue, and it's like an important piece. And yeah, for the brand more generally, of course, I think like the idea, like continuing with the comic book, and all of the kind of like media side of things, we want to appeal, like make sure that we have a brand that appeals to a broader audience. And so, again, I think everything that people are creating here from, Black Sands to Bread and to Litho the Frog's bedtime stories. All of those things are like these breakout characters that we can kind of use to grow the brand outside of Web3. So 100% that hasn't changed.
Yeah, Crucifor is asking a question connected to this, which is he's just asking about branding strategy and if we're going to hire on extra help for branding strategy. Christopher, I would say like Hugo and Dean are really the key players here. They're the ones who put together the Runiverse direct video. That whole thing was their brainchild, and I'm pretty sure they've got more plans for 2025 in regards to that.
And I think we have, yeah, like we have to get as much help as possible from anyone, from everything, right? So that means um, from sort of the employees from Magic Machine and Bisonic doing their best work. That means recruiting designers like Moonbase to make sure that it like looks gorgeous. That means if we have to help other firms to advise us on ways that we can better market the project and kind of get our message across to a broader audience. We've done that in the past and we'll do that again. And if you know firms of like that you think are good, feel free to send them our way. And then but I think really like um, the most genuine kind of path there is the people who are in the cult. It's like word of mouth. People in the cult telling their friends and followers like why they think the cult is good and why you should join, right? And it's really sort of like that evangelism that is actually going to bring people into the cult who will contribute, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, like
It's been nice. I've been working with a couple people um, who are dissecting our project from like a third party perspective, right? Because I think sometimes you need a little bit of outside perspective to see where the holes are, what's working, what's not, what's translating, and that's been really, really great. A lot of that work and a lot of those learnings are going to come out, and I would say in the next like month or two. So yeah, definitely working with a lot of people outside of the team to sort of polish and sort of get this strategy as bulletproof as we think we can.
yeah, like Dota said, Moonbase especially, they're the ones who did our website. We really want to use them a lot more to help um, establish a sort of branding look for more things beyond just the website. So we're definitely working with people with marketing. Um, okay. Meeple Dad's got a fun question. What did you guys get for Christmas? For Wismas? Nothing.
I was waiting for Joe to go. I will. Okay, so let's see. I got a couple sweatshirts. I think my favorite thing that I got was I have this machete that I've had since like seventh grade that I got from my dad, and over the years, seventh grade, that was a long time ago. I'm really old. So it's like pretty chewed up, and the tip was broken, and so my son and Nalgene conspired behind my back to get this machete and get it completely refurbished. And they
So,
gave it to me for the holiday, which I thought was just the awesomest. So that's my favorite present.
Bear, I hope you gave it a name. I mean, this whole project sounds like Aragorn reforging Narsil, the Flame of the West, or Anduril. So,
Honestly, this could be a great piece of lore.
yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to call it Excalibur.
No, you got to
Uh,
have something original,
yeah, I know, I know, I know.
I don't know. I'll think of something if you can't. Um, but Dota, any fun Christmas presents
Um, I got like an
report?
AR-15 build your own kit and like a
Jeez, you guys have
80%
both got
lower.
weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna mill my own lower and yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
you're scaring me, brother.
I'm just
Yeah,
exercising my constitutional right.
a reforged machete has no chance against an AR-15 bear.
Yeah.
Mm. I have more than a machete in my house. We'll be fine.
Okay.
That's fun. I got my kit
um,
3D printer, like the Prusa MK4. We got a kit, and so yeah, it's gonna take like it takes a long time to build it. The kit, it's gonna take like 8 hours. But I knew that if I just bought them like an assembled one, like I don't know if you guys have used 3D printers, but they're really finicky. And if I just bought them an assembled one and went weird, they wouldn't know how to fix it. So I just bought them a kit for like a big Lego set. Spend the next 8 to 10 hours, couple of days building it, and then when it goes wrong, they can fix it themselves, and I don't have to. So that'll be fun.
Nice. I have no weapons except for my bare fists. But I did get a really cool video game system called the Retron 2 HD. It plays
Ooh.
old NES, SNES, and Famicom games all in one console. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to connect an old school NES or SNES to a modern, like OLED
Yeah,
It's
TV.
doesn't
dude,
work.
Doesn't
it's
work.
the worst. Well,
Yeah.
it does, but it's brutal
Yeah,
because I was playing Mike Tyson Punch Out on an original NES, and it's just like it's like 1 out of 30 times it's gonna
yeah,
work.
yeah. You need a CRTV for that. But this thing will play old school games on a modern TV. So, yeah, that's what I
What
got.
is it called?
It's called a Retron 2 HD. I don't even know if it's like a legal piece of hardware per se, but that's what I got. It's pretty dope.
Amazing. I know that Palmer Lucky has like a new Game Boy, and then I think he did a new Nintendo 64 that uses like it's not even hardware simulation. It basically uses like a type of chip that replicates the machine code of the original NES. And so yeah, I definitely got my eye on one of those. That'd be super fun.
Are you a big Palmer Lucky fan, Dota?
Uh I I
Yeah.
lo-
I'm
I
not.
I don't have a preference either way.
He's a nerd who thinks he's Tony Stark. Listen, that's my commentary.
Ah!
Um, but no, I love this like resurgence of vintage gaming. There's like all this new hardware coming out. I've noticed that is made to service these old games, and I still have my dream alive that someday we can actually put some content on an NES cartridge of some kind, and
that
make
was
it a
one of
gold
my
cartridge.
that was one of my first ideas when I came to Forgotten Runes. Was like I want to make our own original NES cartridge game.
That I had that idea before you did, Bear. Just for the record.
I
That's
don't
more of
know.
an art project than a business, but it would be fun.
Oh,
Yep.
totally,
Yep.
totally.
Yep. Okay, anyway, let's see. We've got okay, Crucifor says so Crucifor says, I very recently used a flame to burn a whiz, and I got a really great soul out of it, wrote some lore for it, and then sold it to Meeple Dad for a griffin. EFP. And he says, now I really miss my soul. The question is, how stupid am I?
Oh,
Chris 4, I don't think you're stupid, but I do
no.
think you will regret it. Let's put
Ooh.
it that
I don't know. He burned it, so that's still that's worth something.
way. Everybody who sells their soul eventually comes to regret it.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
what literature has taught me.
Mm.
So, but now Meeple has it. So, good job, Chris 4. Meeple owns your soul. Um, oh, Tad and Meeple, do you guys have any fun Christmas presents? I forgot you guys are up here. Do you want to talk about any fun Wismas presents?
I didn't really do a lot of presents this year. The I guess the nice gift somebody gave me was a big slab of marlin, of a big swordfish. He went out deep sea fishing, and
Nice.
they caught like a 200-pound fish, so it took him like 45 minutes to get it in the boat. So I'm gonna
Wow.
cook that up tomorrow and enjoy that.
That sounds amazing. Swordfish is good.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Meeple? Meatball?
We had a blast for Christmas around
Wow.
here. It was a good time. For me personally, I got a Bluey T-shirt from the kids. They have I don't know if anyone's watched Bluey, but
Yes.
Bluey is a phenomenal kids show, and I'm now the proud owner of a third Bluey T-shirt. And then there's some bread friends that showed up just in the mail yesterday,
Yes.
so pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say another Christmas present I got, I guess for myself, was the treasure trove and the bread friend. and then of course the Secret Tower Lego set, all just phenomenal Wismus presents. So yeah, we can thank the cult for that one, especially Feckless and Meeple Dad. Okay.
Get to gift those extra things?
What's that, Meeps?
Did you get to gift those extra Secret Tower Lego sets to your
I
fam?
did. Yeah, I did. I didn't know if you wanted me to tell people about that. Yeah, but yeah, Meeple was kind enough to send me 2 extra Lego sets that I could give to a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they loved it. They're big Lego fans and they're big Wizard fans too. So yeah, it was great, man. Okay, Virgilius has a lore question, which are my favorite kind of questions for Wizard Wednesday. I mean, speaking of lore questions, like we just announced that Wizard Wednesday would be an as needed basis. But if you guys just fill me up with lore questions every week, I would talk about that regularly. I wish there was more lore questions, but anyway. So Virgilius the sorcerer is asking. He says, Kaiju Bay. Is there a known beast that calls this bay home? Or is it sort of a Loch Ness monster kind of thing? Yeah, he's just asking about what Kaiju Bay is. So yeah, let me talk about this for a little bit. Kaiju Bay is, of course, a place to explore the kaiju archetype. And if you don't know what a kaiju is, it's typically like a gigantic monster of immense power that often brings with it large scale destruction. And so, obvious examples of this are like King Kong and Godzilla. You might even consider Cthulhu and other cosmic scale monsters from Lovecraft as kaiju. Um, and it's a really great archetype because it's essentially just a metaphor for any kind of large scale destruction. People often say that Godzilla, for example, is Japan's metaphor for the atomic bomb. But really, you could take just any kind of large scale cataclysmic event and symbolize it with a monster. So you could take like concepts like world war or a global pandemic or environmental collapse, and you could wrap it up in a monster metaphor. And this makes just a really fun literary device. Um, as for the Loch Ness monster, I think of the Loch Ness monster as more of a cryptid and less of a kaiju because the Loch Ness monster really isn't gigantic and doesn't typically offer a large scale threat. Um, but yeah, I was personally inspired to call this region Kaiju Bay because in media we often see the sea as a source for these kaiju. How many times have we seen Godzilla coming on or even King Kong is from like a lost island somewhere out in the ocean. And it's probably because the sea is the only place big enough to hide these monsters. And then finally, I'd say that often before I've said that the 7 legendary beasts from the Gate of the Seventh Realm are also kaiju. Um, I've seen a lot of people in the cult and in Wikipedia call them gods, but that's perfect because Godzilla and Cthulhu are often at times colloquially referred to as gods. And so I love how this archetype often blurs the line between a god and an overwhelmingly powerful monster. But I don't think that the 7 legendary beasts hail from Kaiju Bay. They come from another place entirely. And I hope for the sake of the citizens of the Runiverse that the legendary beasts never have a clash with anything born of the depths of Kaiju Bay, because that would be a large scale catastrophe. Um, and then also the comic actually, I think it's issue 5 or 6. It features some kaiju. Um, so yeah, that's sort of what my thinking around Kaiju Bay. It just I think there's a lot of really fun writing potential that you could find in this region of the Runiverse. But that's how I think about it, Virgilius. Okay, I think that's all the questions I see, unless you guys see any other questions. But yeah, speaking of Wismas, this year I think we did a really fun event. I collaborated with, I think it's 11 artists from the cult, and we were supposed to drop randomly one of these 11 pieces to every Forgotten Runes wallet over Wismas. But Dotta, what actually
Oh
happened?
man, you'd think that I could airdrop an NFT appropriately
Yeah.
in my sleep, but apparently I can't because it took me till about 1:30 in the morning. And then when I finally did the drop, instead of airdropping 3 of any one of the 11 NFTs, I instead airdropped 3 of NFT number 3 to every single holder.
Were you drunk on
An
eggnog?
honest mistake. I do that all the
Yeah.
time.
The funny thing is I woke up the next morning and I found out that there was a bug, and I dug and dug and dug, and I actually don't know where the code is. I actually have to ask Niski to help me find. I don't know where the bug is. Excuse me. I know where the code is. I don't know where the bug is in my code. I've looked at it so much. So Niski's gonna have to help me. So Niski will help me, and we're gonna get it out to everybody within the next week or so. But there's just such beautiful pieces. My sorry for the artists that I did out, but I know the cult will love having these because they're super fun.
And congratulations to Daniela. It's probably your most widely distributed piece that's been made. So that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
so
Yeah,
many.
I was gonna say, Daniela, congrats. You got your artwork dropped to, well, not 30,000 wallets, but 30,000 copies of your piece to I don't know, 10K people. And it's a good piece. So yeah, I mean, if you were gonna make that mistake, Dota, you chose a good one to make it on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
it's all good. It'll be fixed soon. And honestly, I think that's probably a good segue into, speaking of cult creators, the Cult Content Chronicle compiled by.
The illustrious.
Tanya Del Rio. Every damn week. 102
Hey,
weeks. Man.
wow, so many weeks.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, awesome. So let's jump right in. And so speaking of the Wismas drop, there's a lot of, or each of those pieces are in here. So let's start out with David Azul, who did a really beautiful piece. Although this first entry in the Chronicle is not his Wismas drop, it's a piece of Arkol Waster of Nightmare Paradise, which is a Goblin Warrior. And then this next piece is from his Wismas drop. He did just a really awesome purple wizard summoning the Wismas items in bubbles. Super fun idea. By the way, yeah, so that was the theme of the Wismas drop. I told them that they could pretty much draw anything they wanted, just try to make it Wismas themed and try to use the Athenaeum items from last Wismas, and they all did it in really creative ways. So yeah, David used a purple wizard to summon these items in these fun little bubbles. Okay, number 3, Markifine shared a really fun work in progress video of Bearsnake 21. Bearsnake, did you commission this, or did Markifine just give you this as a gift?
I did not commission, but what did happen afterwards was we had a public conversation in over Twitter, and I'm absolutely going to do a commission with them because I'm obsessed. Some of my favorite pieces. This one's amazing.
Yeah, Markifine's so good. Okay, Chicken Blackwater shared a fun piece of pixel art. He says, two friends meet in an ancient city. There you go. And then Max Devon commissioned, I'm going to call them Mars, or M for Ers. Nice commission of Matto commissioned a nice commission of Magus Devon. I always mix up Matto and Magus Devon. The names sound very similar. Okay, and then Magus Devon continues with some commissions. And then Clooney the Rat is continuing their 3D Builder's Arc. It basically looks like Clooney, you torched this this wizard. He's I don't know what he did to merit this burning, but he didn't turn into a soul. He just got burnt. Very cool. Okay, Pony Boy did a really cool gen of their warrior. Man, I love this warrior. The demon dog companion is so badass. And yeah, it's an awesome gen. Over the break, there was a really huge event. The Black Sands burning finally arrived, and I have been seeing some really cool burns as a result of this. This particular one is one that Tad got. Tad, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's the nightmare. My favorite thing about this is it came from a Ruins TCG card from years ago,
I
and
remember.
it was commissioned by an artist that I've done quite a bit of work with over the last several years. So it was really cool. It was fun to draw that, but the Black Sand Burn itself was built so well. It's really interesting. It's gasless. It just updates metadata, so they were able to keep the tokens that are on the Ethereum blockchain, but not make it so cost prohibitive to do it. So yeah, it was really cool. If you haven't done it, it's going to be open indefinitely. It's not planned to close anytime soon, but there are still one of one mounts available.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I personally have not been able to burn anything. It's so hard to do anything crypto related over Wismus break. But all the team is like filtering back, and I, for one, am probably going to take advantage of this Black Sands burn very soon.
One cool thing about the Black Sands burn, I'll say too, is that folks can either burn with their Elysian ponies or with the Mecha ponies.
Daddy, do
either
you
one
still
works.
have those chocolates?
And yeah, it's a ton of fun. You get
still have those
you get leftover stuff too. Like you burn 3 ponies and then you get 1 soul pony, but you also, the other 2 ponies turn into other things, like a bottle of glue or a pile of dust or things like that. Yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
That's great. That's great. And Meeple Daughter wants to know if you still have that chocolate.
We got chocolate. We got me and the wife are doing like we're doing the 75 hard, so we're like no sugar. So all the leftover chocolate in the house is gonna wind up in these kids' mouths.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
Excellent. Glad it's not going to waste. Okay. Virgilius the Sorcerer. Just wanted to wish all a Kobold New Year. I like this version of the Kobold. He's pretty cute. And then speaking of Black Sands Burn, oh no, this is not a Black Sands Burn. This is from the Unchained game from Sasha and Oz, which like every few days I'm just seeing amazing art come out from this game. So yeah, this is actually one of the community projects I'm very excited about in 2025. And then of course Meeple Dad continues with Riddles in the Dark, day 366. And Magic Monday News had their special guest, Leif Dojang. And I wonder if Magic Monday News will now move to Wednesday, Magic Wednesday News. I don't know. It doesn't have the same alliteration, but yeah, very cool. And then look at that. One of my pieces made it into the Chronicle. It was my my ode to the new year. I said that my New Year's resolution is to write my manifesto. And in addition to that, I want to start just creating more personal artwork for the timeline. And so this piece right here is a preview of that. And I think that is it for the Chronicle. Any more questions, comments from anybody?
I'm so excited for this year. Oh man, this is culmination of everything.
It really is. It really is. Oh, and Meeple wanted to read lore. Meeple, for the past, I don't know, few weeks, you have been delighting us with lore around the treasure trove. The lore you're going to read today, is it connected to that, or is it something totally new?
This is something something different, but of the same one of my same wizards. This is of Uvulus, and this is actually to tie Riddles in the Dark up in a bow.
Oh, nice.
Because
Okay.
yesterday was the final Riddle in the Dark.
Wow! Final Riddle of the Dark and final Weekly Wizard Wednesday.
Wow,
It's a new era, folks.
what you've been on such an epic run, Meatball Dad.
Yeah, 366 days apparently. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Meeple Dad, please take it away.
Yeah, and I want to talk. So the Riddles in the Dark project just started as like a fun thing that I thought, oh, let's tell some riddles. And it began because I was explaining to one of my daughters what a riddle was. We were watching the original 1977 cartoon Hobbit, and she said, "What's a riddle?" And I thought, what is a riddle? That's a good question. And my description of it was it's like a poem meets a puzzle. Was how I described it.
Excellent description.
And so it began just a few here and there, and I started on January 1st last year, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll do this for a week or two. But it sort of lined up with a big change that I made in my life, where I stopped drinking this time last year because I was at a point where it wasn't a healthy thing for me to be doing anymore, and I was able to sort of channel some of that. When my routine used to be reach in the fridge and grab a beer. Instead, I sat down and wrote a riddle, and it sort of was a tool for me to help me on this new journey of sobriety. So that was the sort of what it became, and that's what it's meant to me to get on Twitter every day and share a little piece of lore, in these tiny little bite-sized pieces. So I wrote a little piece of lore to tie it all up with a bow. So let's venture back to the Great Library and the Blue Wizard Bastion and see what Uvulus is up to. It was the first day of the new year, and within the hallowed halls of the Great Library, Uvulus sat hunched over his grand tome, quill feverishly dancing as he transcribed the final riddle, the ink weaving the essence of mystery and enlightenment into the parchment. The tome before him, brimming with riddles collected throughout the year, hummed with a sort of arcane energy, each riddle a key to unfathomable depths of knowledge and wisdom. As the last word dried, Uvulus leaned back, and his gaze lingered on the pages that chronicled the year's journey through this enigmatic and unknown. It was time to conclude this chapter, and yet he knew the riddle's magic must endure, their secrets accessible for those daring enough to seek them. Uvulus looked around the office from his large wooden desk. On the shelves sat a collection of yet-to-be-sorted Athenaeum items that had been brought to him. Among them was a jar of bugbear moonshine. Uvulus exhaled. It was a year ago that Uvulus had given up the drink for good, this day celebrating a milestone of his sobriety. Uvulus looked back at the tome. Thank you, O Book of Riddles. Thank you for being my structure that gave me strength to fight the Kitsune's temptations. With a deep, resonating incantation, Uvulus summoned the jar of questions, its surface shimmering with an almost eldritch light. He placed the tome beside the jar, their magics intertwining, the air crackling with potential. The final spell, whispered and reverent and intent, Uvulus imbued the tome's essence into the jar of questions, ensuring that the riddles would echo throughout the ages for all who sought knowledge. The tome, now soft and glowing, gently closed on its own, its purpose fulfilled. Uvulus, with a sense of solemnity, lifted the tome and the jar and made his way through the winding corridors of the great library, ascending the spiral staircase that took him up to the tower of the Loracle. The tower, a repository of the Runiverse's great mysteries and wisdom, stood as a beacon to scholars and seekers alike. At the tower's zenith, Uvulus approached the mysterious orb of the Loracle. With a bow of respect to the unseen forces that guided the destinies of the Runiverse, he placed the tome and the jar upon a pedestal. A soft luminescence enveloped the room as the tower's magic acknowledged the additional chapter into its vast compendium. As Uvulus descended the tower, the first light of dawn pierced the horizon, casting the world a new light. The Riddles in the Dark project, a journey of discovery, had found its rightful place in the annals of the Runiverse, safeguarded by the Loracle in the Great Library, and there the chapter had closed, with the riddles within the jar whispering endless possibilities, inviting all who dared to join it. Uvulus's journey with the riddles was complete, but the quest for knowledge in the Runiverse is ever vast and wondrous, and to be continued.
People, I love the way you often connect your lore to your personal life story. It's a common thing we see among across all great literature. But also, we really got to do something about those bugbears. Their bootlegging moonshine operations are a real plague on the lands. And Virgilius, I don't know, maybe we need to summon some kind of kaiju to take care of this large scale problem.
That was awesome, Meeple. Thank you for that. It was just amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a real journey for me personally, and I just wanted to share it, and I really appreciate everyone who has participated in the Riddles project, answering them or sharing them throughout the year. And there was a DAO proposal that I put through, and that was passed. So I have a bunch of Nightmare Imp treat boxes. So I'm going to go through to give away to people who've sort of participated over the course of the year. So do me a favor, if you've played along with the Riddles in the Dark, if you've had fun with them throughout the year, find the most recent one in the Cult Content Chronicle and just leave a comment and just say that, share your sort of experience with them. And I'll be handing out some inboxes to people who reply in that thread, as well as to others who've just, answered sort of, some individuals have answered sort of dozens of riddles throughout the year, which is just phenomenal to see them playing along every day, which is really fun. So go interact, and maybe you'll get free stuff. Woo!
Heck yeah! I love how we're still having fun with the inboxes. That's great, and that's the whole point is just to have fun. Let's bring fun back to NFTs. Okay, guys, I think we're almost out of time. Dotta, Bear, Tad, Meeple, anything else?
I don't have anything else. I'm going to spend today with the family and then rest up so we can just get back at it tomorrow.
Level up 2025.
Level up. All right, I think that's it. This has been Elf, Bear, Dotta, Tad Major, Meeple Dad, aka Meatball Dad, and all of the wizards of the Forgotten Runes Wizards Cult. Channeling out from the Quantum Downs. GN, everybody.
Bye.
See ya! Happy 2025!
Channeling from the Quantum Downs. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Black Goat Elf, Dotta Puppet too. Bearsnake by the ocean blue. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Kobolds and dreams.
master sword.